Welcome to the quick start tutorial for Easy Utility AI. This video will cover the very basics of the system and just get you up and running. The first thing we're going to do is to place the AI debugger. This is here in this folder, Easy Utility AI Content, Debug UI, AI Debugger. Just drop it in the level wherever you want. And this tool will basically show the state of the AI inside the level when playing the game, and you can cycle through all AI controllers. And it will start automatically. Now we don't have any tasks, and the AI is basically doing nothing. Here you see the beacon above the head, which means that this is the AI that is actually shown by the debugger. So now let's get to the actual AI part. First thing we're going to do is create a task manager, which is sort of the hub for all things that happen within the system, and it connects everything together. Yeah, so now we're going to add this to the AI controller, and now we're ready to go with this. And now we are going to create the first task. Select Easy AI Utility Task here. This is really important. You can, of course, build a complete AI using forced tasks. There are no limits to this, but for this we are going to create the utility task. And the forced tasks are basically something that can be used for when a character is getting hit, and it has to be forced into a specific state, like a pause for a few seconds, and this would basically override all previous AI states. But we're going for the utility tasks here for our example. We're going to create an idle task first, and yeah, some UA4 stuff here happening. And we're going to set its score to 0.1 as a default, and you don't need to do anything here. So, but since it's idle, I would actually recommend using some sort of stop, like stop movement here, and when the task starts. So, yeah. Secondly, we are going to create another task and call it chase. Because this is what the AI in this example will do. It's just simply going to chase the player, then wait a short time, and then try to chase the player again. So nothing special. It's just really the simplest thing to get you started. So now we're going to use AI move to, which is like the default function for this, and yeah, this works definitely. And we need the pawn also, the AI owner pawn here, which in this case is this AI tutorial pawn, which is simply automatically cast by the system. So yeah, and you definitely want to put a finish task here. So when the AI completes moving, then this task will simply be done, you know, and another task is ready to be selected. So we're going to change this a bit, and we are also adding a cooldown here. So the AI is going to wait once it hit the target. So I'm going to make this 5 seconds. And also, you don't really need to do anything here. This is the scoring system is something I want to cover in another tutorial video, because this can be a bit complex at the beginning. But of course, you can check out the example project and see how exactly that works. Now, the AI needs an actor to move to, and this is where we are going to use the Runtime Key system. And the Runtime Key system is basically a replacement for blackboards, and it's used for tasks, the task manager, queries, and the pawn to communicate with each other. And this is really simple. We are going to use set runtime key value, and we are going to get the player pawn here. In most cases, you want to use some sort of sending system where an AI is actually seeing the player or hearing the player. But for this example, we simply use the player that's there. And we're going to make a sequence here and put this at the top. So yeah, but we need a gameplay tag because the runtime key system is simply using gameplay tags as variable names. And we're calling this AI tutorial player. And now the player pawn is assigned to this runtime key called AI tutorial player. Now we can go back to the chase tasks and use get runtime key value, use the player, put it in here, and that's it. So yeah, now we need to actually execute the tasks. For this we use run utility task, and first we're going to use idle, and then we're going to use chase. And yeah, this is it actually. So if we're now going to start the game, the AI will chase the player, wait 5 seconds, and then try to chase them again. Yeah, this is basically the most simple thing you can imagine for an AI to do, but it should be good to get you started. And what I want to tell you also is that you are, of course, free to include all sorts of if statements here to only execute certain utility tasks, and this is what I call conditional branching. This can turn out to be exactly like a behavior tree, but with a lot more flexibility, and you can use breakpoints and things like that. And yeah, I think it's overall nicer. And if you want to have a multitude of actions performing after each other, I think we call it consecutive actions, like in a behavior tree, then you can also do this within one task. Actually, you are not really limited to anything here. So this is, I think that's the most important thing to work with the system, is that you know what your AI should do. And this is one of the things, if you really know and have a plan how the AI should behave in certain situations, then it will be really convenient to work with this. And yeah, you're not going to have a messy kind of bunch of assets laying around. It's all really clean and streamlined, I would say. And yeah, I will cover some more topics in other tutorials. I can't promise when these will be out, but yeah, there are a lot of things to learn about the system, but it's always a good idea just to tinker around with the example project and see how I set things up there. And yeah, so that's it for a start, and I hope you have fun using the system, and there's really a lot of potential and a lot of more features that are there under the hood for you to discover and play around with. But I really hope to cover this one day in a video tutorial. See you around.